We are going to review some multi-digit multiplication, so we are going to look at two different methods on two different problems. We have the array method, sometimes that's called the area model, and then the traditional or standard algorithm. So on this first one, 342 times 12, if I were doing the traditional or standard algorithm, I would just line up my place values vertically and multiply starting over in the ones place. So 2 times 2, 2 times 4, and 2 times 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 under here. We don't use an x or anything like that because the x is eventually going to be used quite a bit as a variable when we get into some pre-algebra, and it's our multiplication symbol, so that can make it a little bit confusing. So we use a 0 to show that we're now moving on to the tens place, so everything here is multiplied by 10. So then 1 times 2, 1 times 4, and 1 times 3. Then we just add those two partial products together. $4,104. Then we have the area model or array method, and we're going to see a lot of similarities here. We're going to get the same product, but we're just going to have two different ways to see that. So our brains all work a little bit differently, so it's nice to have a couple different methods to find one that works better for us. So I'm going to take that 342 and split it up, decompose it by place value here. Then I'm going to take the 12 and do the same thing, 10 and 2. And I'm going to go ahead and make an array like this. And if you want a straight line, you do have your ID that's always hanging around your neck, and so you could use that if you didn't have a ruler or something. Okay, so I split it up, and then now I just go ahead and multiply to get a product in each box. 300 times 10, so I can just think 3 times 1, and then add those 3 zeros. 40 times 10, and 2 times 10. So we can see the connection that comes from here, 300 times 10, 300, or 40 times 10, and then 2 times 10. Same idea. Here we have 300 times 2, 40 times 2, and 2 times 2. Again, we see that here, 300 times 2, 40 times 2, and 2 times 2. So we're multiplying the same process. It's just laid out a little bit differently. And then we add all the numbers in that box together. So you could kind of shortcut and think 3,420 and just bring that down here. Go ahead and add, so that all came from that row. And then 684. So that came from here. And then if we add those together, we should get the same answer we got over here. 4,104. Okay, go ahead and pause your video and try this next one on your own. Set up the standard or traditional, work through that, and then do the array or area model as well. So you can kind of compare both of those. So I'm setting it up like this. So go ahead and work through those. Pause the video, do those on your own, and then you can unpause when you're ready to check your work. All right, since these are examples that we want to use from here on out to help us with the homework and everything else moving forward, you always want to make sure you did it correctly. So even though you did number 2 on your own, take a moment to just make sure you did those both correctly and you have the same answer on each method.